We are live on the barbershop today, and this is another one. In the words of DJ Khaled, if you out there listening and you out here ready to go today, I'm gonna tell you something right now. This is one of the episodes that you don't want to miss. This is gonna be one of them episodes that you don't want no. You need to be sitting down, get your coffee ready, because I've been working up to something. I've been building up to something. I've been slowly but surely giving you the pages and giving you the template of what's going on. And a lot of people reached out to me last week and said, G. Bush, during the week, hey, I need you to get on this live. I need a live from you ASAP, G. Bush. And I told him, don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that. We're going to get this together, because I've been working towards something, and this is building towards a whole story. And if you've been watching me all summer, if you've been watching this coverage, and you've been watching this series, you know that I've been showing you the reason why things go down. I've been showing you scientifically. I've shown you through consciousness and the way human nature is. I've shown you through financial series. I've shown you the way the NFL works. And I'm going to give it to you today. We're going to talk about the media sleight of hand. And notice I said sleight of hand, because it's slick. It ain't outwardly. I got to teach you how the media works, so that then you can understand how to interpret and move correctly, because this has all been sleight of hand, and it went over some people's heads. Well, today, class is in session, boys and girls. We talk about literature, the classics. Now, I'm going to tie it right back to the Cleveland Browns. Let's see if I can get it done right here on a barbershop.
Quality, service, atmosphere. You're next in the chair. Feel at home in the barbershop. G. Bush offers a fresh cut on sports. The barbershop isn't just grooming for guys. It's culture, it's lifestyle, it's sports. And it's now the barbershop is giving the sports scene a sheer shave and shine. Join the makeover now. Follow Garrett Bush at GBush91 on Twitter.
Yeah, let's get it going. The barbershop is in the building. Let's get it popping. Today, I'm excited about, because I'm going to tell you something, man. I put a lot of energy and effort to this thing right here, and we're going to explain a lot today. We got a lot to get to. We're going to get to the Cleveland Browns play later on today. Want to tell you guys that when you guys get back, when y'all come on back, we will be having a post game on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. 2 minute, we'll be doing that. We'll be breaking down everything with the Cleveland Browns game. And guess what? Shedeur Sanders will play today. Joe Flacco will play. Dylan Gabriel will play. I'm going to give you my ins and outs of that. Don't worry about that. We got you covered. And then you can come on right back here for the barbershop. When you come on the barbershop, we're going to get you together. We're going to do that today. So I'm giving you 3 for the price of 1 today. Nobody's working harder. Nobody is putting in the work. 3 for the price of 1 today. You get G. Bush 3 times today. Make sure you like it and share. This show is going to be specific. We ain't got a lot of time. We need to get right off into this thing. A lot of y'all been sitting around asking me, how the heck has this thing been moving? How the heck has this thing been moving to a point where you predicted it, G. Bush? You've said to us, you've told us, the whole time, you guys are moving around and they're disqualifying things. All of a sudden, they're moving the goalpost. But I'm going to show you it's more insidious than moving the goalpost. It's just not moving the goalpost. The moving the goalpost thing is just a little bit of cognitive dissonance. And we covered that in the last couple of weeks. This is more insidious. What you got to understand about the media is this. Understand that the media is an arm of who they are covering. That's why it is very important that you have independent media moving around that has their own thought process, that is not backed by nothing, and is not listen, when I say I'm not trying to go to your birthday parties, people don't be getting what that means. That means I'm never auditioning to be in your organization. I don't care if the NFL gives me a call tomorrow. I don't care about that. That's not what I do it for. So when I say something and I come out here and talk to y'all, guess what? I mean it. I do my research. I mean what I say. But when you got people who spend more time around the team, with the team, around the team, in the facility, yes, you have access, but what happens when you've been doing that for such a long period of time? Is your commentary about the team or is it from the team? So you also, when you work with somebody, you naturally begin to have an affinity for people. When you work with somebody, you begin to think, okay, well, I really can't say that because that's a little harsh. Because guess what? You got to actually go back to work and see those people the very next day, right? If you work for an entity, whether you work for a CBS, an ESPN, whatever entity it is, a journalist, when you work for all of those different companies that cover in the media, your job is to do what? Yeah, you ask questions, but you are of that environment. Once you're there so long, you become a part of that environment, a part of that industry. So what happens is, how many questions you gonna ask in a row that's crazy? I mean, you can ask some questions that's crazy, but at the end of the day, you still want access, don't you? At the end of the day, you still want inside information, don't you? At the end of the day, you still got a relationship with these folks, don't you? So when you get information, you always have to question yourself and say, is this information unbiased? Is this information coming from them? Where's this coming from? How is this moving? And during the whole Shedeur Sanders situation, as we do our series, and we've been doing this series during the preseason, and as the preseason comes to a close, we've seen that nothing Shedeur Sanders has done on the field, regardless of how well he plays, regardless of how well he answers the questions, regardless of what he does in the community, regardless of how many touchdowns he throws, regardless of everything that we see with our own two eyes, does not matter. Doesn't hit. Doesn't matter where we at with that. Because at the end of the day, it was never about whether facts counted or not. And as we go through this process, I get to the nitty-gritty and I say, G. Bush, how is it that we come to a point where we can have a tweet like this as we explain it? How can we come to a point where this is what we are talking about? We are talking about individuals who have diminished, dismissed, and thrown out exactly what counts in football, and that's what happens on the field. We've gone to, well, if the Cleveland Browns like it, then that's what it should be. That's not it, fellas. That's not what it is. It's time to talk about the propaganda. You know, there's a classic novel out there called 1984. I've mentioned it a few times, and I haven't really gotten into it, but I think this was a required reading when I grew up. In 1984, it describes a dystopian environment in which there's a totalitarian government, and they've gone about in a way to control the people's thoughts. And the way they control people's thoughts is through the way they disseminate images, the way they disseminate news, the way they disseminate journalism, the way they go about describing everything. And in 1984, I find that there are so many parallels to some of the things that we go through in our lives today. Some may have not read the book, but the premise is Beware of when people tell you, are you going to believe your eyes or are you going to believe what I told you? I put a little montage together, a little video, so we can go through this and see if you pick up where I'm going with this. Here we go. Let's get to it. Lesson is in play.
You control people's emotions and thoughts. How can you control people's emotions and thoughts so completely? Well, it all rests on the party's most mind-bending project of all, systematically erasing yesterday. The party has this slogan, and it's the key to everything. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Think about that. If you control everything that's happening right now, every newspaper, every book, every broadcast, you can change what happened yesterday. And if you can change the past, you can make it seem like you've always been right, justifying whatever you're doing today and whatever you plan to do tomorrow.
This is key. The key is controlling the entire narrative. If you can control what somebody says today and what another person says tomorrow, and controlling the entire narrative, you can control the past and the present. Understand that. That is very key. When you're looking at it in terms of what the NFL is, ask yourself, when you work covering the NFL, is it punitive to say anything bad about the NFL? Does it do you any good to push back on the NFL? No. Your job is to report what the NFL told you to report, or you do what? You don't get access. You don't move up the ranks. When you're the biggest league covering the biggest league, I don't think it's a good idea to throw certain things in the game. Always understand this. It's always a matter of control and who controls the narrative. And remember, in the lesson last week, we talked about the echo chamber. We talked about groupthink. We talked about the bandwagon effect, that if you get more than one person to keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it, it becomes a fact. The fatigue factor wears you down. So when they keep saying fifth round pick, he had character issue. You say it so many times, you actually get fatigued to a point where you don't even want to say nothing back because you're tired of talking about it. We'll continue. We still got a lot to go.
It's not just about controlling history. It's about controlling reality itself. And this isn't just some high-level concept. It's a job. It's what our main character Winston does every single day.
So to put it in perspective, there's a character named Winston. He's in this dystopian environment, right? And his job is literally to receive orders, messages arrive in a tube, and then he has to rewrite the past, replace the record, and then get rid of the actual evidence. This takes it a step far, but it's a book. But you'll be surprised how funny and accurate this kind of sounds like when we talk about the way people cover things today. Let's continue.
He gets an order through a pneumatic tube, like an old school bank. It tells him to correct something from the past. He dictates a new version of events into a machine. That new version gets printed, and the original, he balls it up and drops it into a slot in the wall called a memory hole, where it's whisked away to be incinerated. It's an assembly line for destroying truth. The past isn't just being changed, it's being utterly destroyed. Yesterday, the party has this slow.
Now, as we go here, think about this. We're sitting here and we've been talking about this situation where all of a sudden, Shedeur Sanders was not good in the past. All of a sudden, he was not a Johnny Unitas winner. All of a sudden, he didn't go to a program that was one in something. All of a sudden, he didn't throw for all those yards. All of a sudden, he wasn't accurate. And when you ask people, did you see him play or have an opportunity to see him play? You know what they say? No, I didn't. So remember the saying, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to see it, did it really fall? If Shedeur Sanders was good and he was throwing the ball and he was balling, but you didn't see it happen, in your mind, it never happened. So you move on with the premise that since you didn't see it, it never came to you, it didn't happen. Keep that in mind. It gets deeper because that we're going to have to come back to that context coming up. This ain't for everybody. This might go over some heads, and people may not get this. I don't need everybody to get this. This for the people that have been part of the series. Let's continue.
The past isn't just being changed, it's being utterly destroyed. So you might be wondering, how does a person's brain even handle this? How do you live in a world where a fact from yesterday is a lie today? The answer is a psychological trick called doublethink. It's this incredible mental gymnastics where you hold two completely contradictory ideas in your head at the same time.
Kind of like the Cleveland Browns need a quarterback. And so the Cleveland Browns need a quarterback, so they need to play the quarterback, right? But when it comes to playing the quarterback, you turn around and say, I don't want to put the quarterback out there because he might not be ready. You're rushing him. You're going to ruin him. And then when there's no time left in the season, you'll then say, well, we didn't get an opportunity to look at him. And then you'll go right to the next lowest common denominator, which is we need to draft a quarterback next year. Hold on. So you telling me, how is it that you start from the premise that the Cleveland Browns were 3-14 and need a quarterback? They draft a quarterback. But then when it comes time to play said quarterback or give them reps to develop them, you say quarterback not ready. Quarterback not ready, we don't play him. Then you get to the end of the season, you don't play him. Then you say, we didn't have enough time to evaluate him. We don't have any data. And then you go back and then you draft another quarterback. It's a classic case of doublethink. You hold two contradictory beliefs simultaneously, accepting both. Hey, listen, this ain't for everybody. This top notch. If you ain't in it, don't understand it, I'm sorry.
And believe both of them. It means telling a deliberate lie, while at the same time genuinely believing it's the truth. It means being able to forget anything that's become inconvenient. It's the key.
It's the ability to forget any inconvenient fact. Say it again, boys and girls. It is the ability to forget any convenient fact. The convenient fact is Shedeur Sanders outplayed Dylan Gabriel on the field. To forget any convenient fact, what do you have to do? Let's just change the history of it. We'll continue because I'll go back and we'll touch on that. We still cooking.
It's what makes the whole system work.
Doublethink and doublespeak. Both doublethink and doublespeak are newspeak words meaning two almost identical things. Doublespeak is when you are saying two contradictory things at once, and doublethink is when you are thinking two opposite ideas at once. The point of both of these is to use language to mislead someone else. You are using an objective falsehood as truth to the point where another person believes the falsehood as truth. If I see that it's raining and I say it's sunny, that's doublespeak. If we know it's sunny and I convince you it's raining, that's doublethink. This is illustrated in the book by 2 + 2 = 5. 2 and 2 have always been 5, and it always will be. To believe this would be doublethink. Again, if you actually believe this, even though there's a gut feeling otherwise, it's still doublethink.
Since the proles are too uneducated to matter and are easy to manipulate by either nationalistic pandering or to create a fake crisis, the party only really has to worry about its own stability to survive, so it doesn't really monitor or care about the majority of the population.
This is key. The description in the book talked about the regular people, the proles, the party. The party is a top-down type system where the control is at the very tippy top. Then it trickles down into the people that are support staff and support inside of the top 2%. This is an example of the way the NFL functions. At the top are the very tippy top 2% of people who are the owners and the league executives who control the monopoly of what you hear, speak, say, do, whatever the case may be. The 13 or so percent underneath that are the people covering said entity. Those people are responsible for upholding whatever that the top 2% bring you. That goes towards that gives you a reason and a rationale of why people in the media let people that are owners off the hook when players get eviscerated for it. Why no one dares speak certain people in ownership if they do certain things. Robert Kraft, not saying anything, allegedly. But yet and still they would go crazy if a player did it. It's because their job is to support that entity and to prop up whatever they say. Let's continue on. Let me bring that back because I need you to get this and take a look at what he says about the silent masses. They only worry about themselves because the only thing that can take themselves down is somebody within that top 2% or the 13 or so percent that are covering, working, and supporting. Because the rest of the community and the rest of the people that are fans, they want bliss. They want ignorance. They don't question what people say. When you talk about specific things in sports, like, that's why they tell you, don't touch politics, don't touch finance, don't touch religion. We want to be ignorant. We watch sports to get away from those things. But they don't really understand those other things. Those same 2% control why you don't get no money at work. Them same 2% own the football team. Them same 2% own all the utility companies. The same 2% is the ones with the tax break. That same 2% is everywhere. But they blindly trick you into believing that 2%, no, we're not the same as the other people. No, they own the airplanes. They own the teams. They own the food system. They own distribution. They own the voting. It is what it is. But they give you sports to keep you passive and quiet. And you will believe what they tell you to believe because you want an escape. Let's continue on. I ain't trying to get crazy. Here we go. He said I didn't. Let's get back to it.
Even though there's a gut feeling otherwise, it's still doublethink.
Since the pros are too uneducated to matter and are easy to manipulate by either nationalistic pandering or to create a fake crisis, the party only really has to worry about its own stability to survive. So it doesn't really monitor or care about the majority of the population. The party only has to worry about its own stability to survive. Like a human body, it remains healthy by purging out the harmful educated element and those not entirely loyal to the ideology. Decades ago,
Officer-involved shooting. Officer-involved shooting is...
We go to this. We must go to and understand as we get to this. Yes, let's get to doublespeak, right? So we now know how they go about doing it, right? We now know what they do and how it is, right? But now we have to set up and give you specific instances in everyday life that show you this in action. Now, in this case, what doublespeak does, doublespeak is something there to lessen the blow and impact. Sometimes when you're talking about controversial things, like a police officer would be involved in a shooting, they intentionally change the wording and the way we cover that or talk about that to literally make it ambiguous so that it does not gain as much wowism when you put it in front of the television. In this case, it just so happens to be this. But when it comes to sports and a lot of other things, we can gauge and we can show you that those things translate not only in this, but it translates as a literary tactic all the time when you're communicating and you're being persuasive. Let's bring this back.
Police doublespeak.
To survive. Like a human body, it remains healthy by purging out the harmful educated element and those not entirely loyal to the ideology. Decades ago,
Officer-involved shooting. Officer-involved shooting is police doublespeak for police shot a person. It's an ambiguous way to describe police violence without assigning blame. Here, grammar is used to create doubt and confusion. It's hard to determine a responsible party when an action verb is absent. Officer-involved shooting is a noun phrase that contains no verb. So the listener or reader is left with questions like, did a gun go off by accident? Did someone shoot a police officer? Did a civilian shoot a civilian while a police officer was nearby? English usually uses the subject-verb-object format in sentences, so we know who did the action and who received the action. When clear English like police shoot a person is used, we know that police are the subject or the doers of the action, and a person is the object, the recipient of the action. Here, it's clear that the police did the shooting and they were the cause of the injury or death. With officer-involved shooting, you can't tell who the subject is. In fact, the term hinders the reader or listener's ability to make a direct causal connection to the harm done. There was a shooting, the police were involved, and often someone died, but the relationship among these concepts is fuzzy. It describes an event alongside the person who did it without connecting the two.
Time now for the...
Now that we understand that the way you write a sentence, and in that case, don't get upset and say, G. Bush, what are you saying? How are you saying that? Are we talking about police brutality? No, don't get the point I'm making and say that was the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is to show the way that you structure a sentence and the way you headline a sentence undoubtedly change the context of what it is. And sometimes they do it to purposely confuse you and say, well, what was the purpose of this article? Because most people won't look past the headline. Now, we understand how it works, right? And then also the next step of it, and when we talk about whether it's the Cleveland Browns or we're talking about different people and things, they use euphemisms. They use things like, we need them to get in and out of the huddle. I need to see them really take leadership. Those are vague jargon terms that are loaded and that can be used to either disprove or prop up people that don't deserve it. Another thing that they do is they just filibuster. Have you ever asked somebody a question? You say, Coach Stefanski, what's going on? How did you throw about what did you see in that the turnover from Dylan Gabriel? Well, listen, all turnovers aren't created equally, and that's on us. We have to clean it up. That's on our coaching staff. Hold on, Coach. You said, I asked you specifically, what did you think about Dylan Gabriel's interception? And you said all turnovers aren't created equal, and that our coaching staff needs to get better. How does the coaching staff have anything to do with his decision to throw the football? They do it because it's a deflection tactic, and they do it all too well. Coming up in this case, there's a politician, and he shows it how well and effective this is. Watch how effective this is when you do this, and if you watch his face. Watch his face, because they're actors. These people are literally acting in front of you. And they feel like if they do it long enough and they do it consistently enough, you'll stop asking the questions and fall in line. Kind of like 1984 talked about.
Ridiculous. And tonight there's a mini scandal brewing in Florida over a campaign stop by Governor Rick Scott. 2 weeks ago, the governor was campaigning for re-election in Tampa with a group of uniformed law enforcement officers lined up behind him. There you see the picture. The problem is it's illegal in Florida for public employees to participate in campaign events on the clock or in uniform, and an official complaint has been filed with the state. Now, as political scandals go, look, this is not Watergate. It's more of a bite-sized brouhaha.
Facts. So when you see this, I don't care nothing about this in reality. Listen, this is a nothing burger, right? He's not going to jail. I'm not jumping up and down. Don't miss the forest for the trees. What I'm saying here is I'm showing you the behavior that's exhibited for something like this in its textbook. Watch it and continue going.
The question is, Did the governor's office know if the policemen were on duty or off duty? It's really much a duty about nothing. But we want to show you how the governor is handling questions about it, because this is where the duty hits the fan. It's a great example of the time-honored political tradition of saying a whole bunch of stuff without ever answering the question, no matter how many times the question is asked.
Sound familiar? I think Kevin Stefanski do this all the time. You can ask Kevin Stefanski, is it daytime outside? And they say no. He say, hey, is it day outside, coach? It all depends on where you are in the world.
All politicians do it, but this really is a masterclass. Take a look.
Did you really think that all of those deputies were off duty?
Gosh, I'm very proud that last week the police chiefs endorsed me. I'm very proud that 40 sheriffs have endorsed me. I'm very proud of all the support from the law enforcement. We're at a 43-year low in our crime rate. So we invite them to our campaign events, and I'm very appreciative of the ones that came.
But did you think it was a problem to have on-duty law enforcement there?
I'm very appreciative of both their support and those that come to my events.
You didn't answer that question. Should there be discipline?
Look, I'm appreciative of everybody that comes to my events. And gosh, we're at a 43-year low in our crime rate. We should be very...
Look at this man's eyes. Do you see this? Look at this robot. Look, he's literally glitching out in his mind. And I don't live in Florida, but I don't know if that could come off as genuine. Somebody really went to the ballot box and said, yes, that guy, I believe he's best for our society in Florida. Look at him. You can't make this up, people.
Supportive of our law enforcement.
So do you think it's okay for them to be there on duty?
I'm very appreciative. Our police chiefs endorsed me last week, the association. 40 sheriffs did. We have law enforcement come to a variety of events and others, and I'm very appreciative of anybody that comes to an event and supports my race.
I am very appreciative. I got two questions. One, is Governor Scott appreciative of police officers who come to his events? And two, what the hell were we talking about? That's the point of talking points, to throw you off track, except it doesn't really work. It just insults everybody's intelligence. What if people in other professions started doing this? Teachers, when a student asks you a question in class, just keep repeating that attendance is up. Attendance is up. Things are looking good. Attendance is up. Doctors, when a patient asks you if they're dying, say you're appreciative of everyone who comes to see you. Let's see how that goes over. Governor Scott was asked about this again at an event just a short time ago. He said that his office complies with the rules, and you guessed it, he's proud that the Police Chiefs Association endorses him and that people come to his events. And then this.
Why do you think you have a reputation for not answering questions?
Oh gosh, I answer questions. I have the opportunity to talk to the media a lot. I love traveling the state. I talk to people all over the state. It's an exciting time to be in Florida.
That's your GM. That's your head coach. That's your analytics department. That's your scouting department. That's your offensive coordinator. You wonder why these personality types get into the business. Every single analytics department is run by a guy that is doing that same song and dance. Well, Coach, why do you think you get why do you think you get the whole reputation that you don't answer questions? Well, I'm just going to say it's a great day. And it's a great day to be a Cleveland Brown. And, we had a great quarterback competition, and I'm willing to answer any questions you have about the quarterbacks. Dog, I just asked you a question. But if you don't understand it and you don't point it out, goes over heads. We're not done. We'll continue on. There's an ending and a landing here that we got to get to.
I don't know what to say. Indeed. I agree. Indeed, it is an exciting time to be in Florida. And, of course, to be on the ridiculous as well. What more can you say? Except I appreciate it.
Eric Dickerson was on a radio show, Fred Rogan and Rodney Peete on AM 570, and had this to say about Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, yeah. Y'all thought I wasn't going to talk about this? I snuck this right on in. Eric Dickerson, Again, remember, in the backdrop of 1984, remember, it's about changing the past. And if you change the past, you control the narrative today. Let's work.
And I'll tell you this much here, what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns.
By the way, so what makes one person's source better than another one? I'm going to throw that out there before he even continues. The anonymous sources about his character, the anonymous sources about his interviews and his draft process, his anonymous sources giving all of these things. Remember, this is how we started. What says that you are more credible than the next person? It's how many people you get to co-sign. It's how many people that you get to say. It's how many people that you get a chance to say, oh, this is right, this is right, this is right. It's the same reason that Kenny Pickett all of a sudden became a good quarterback, despite not having any numbers, despite not playing the whole preseason, and despite doing a bunch of other stuff. It is what it is. Let's continue. What makes Eric Dickerson not credible when we have to take everybody else for face value?
I said, don't do that. Draft
really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him.
Your thoughts, Albert?
Yeah, I always think these sorts of conspiracies are a little overdone. I don't think there was any conspiracy here. I think it's relatively simple what happened. I think the great majority of NFL teams did not view him as a first-round prospect, contrary to what had been out there for the.
Watch this. This is the key right here. Watch this. This is it. This is smoking gun right here. Watch this.
Year previous. And then I think what happens is once you get past the first round, you look at the history over the years, not a lot of quarterbacks go in the second or third rounds.
What? What did he just say? Nah, hold on. I thought I was tripping. Hold on. I might be tripping. Hold on. What did he say? Hold on.
Over the years, not a lot of quarterbacks go in the second or third rounds. It's just the reality of it, like that most teams look at it like if there's a guy who's going to be our long-term answer at the position, we just take him in the first round. And if a guy's not going to be your long-term answer at the position, then you probably aren't going to take him in the second or third round.
Is he aware that they took Dylan Gabriel in the third round? Is he aware that the Cleveland Browns took Dylan Gabriel in the exact round that quarterbacks don't go in the second or third round? I mean, am I supposed to just unremember every draft that I've watched for the last 43 years and tell myself that quarterbacks really don't go in the second or third round? So you mean to tell me only if you don't get drafted in the first or second round, quarterbacks don't go no other round? We let that ride? No disrespect. I'm just giving a retort because it sounds wild to me. And they took Dylan Gabriel in the third round, but they took him and still gave him first team reps and was trying to get him ready to play. I'm just asking. We'll continue on. Hey, listen, don't be mad at the player. I'm just giving you my context and thought.
Because you're going to be looking for a long-term answer at another position with those picks. So the fate of Shedeur Sanders, I think he fell out of the first round for football reasons. I think he kept falling for everything else, right? Like for the fact that most coaches look at their backup quarterbacks and say, I want you to blend in with the furniture. I don't want to notice that you're even here.
When he says he fell out of the first round, so he fell all the way down for other reasons. Remember, vagueness, euphemisms, We use those things to muddy the water. I don't want to see you. Is this not a league where you're supposed to develop people? What kind of flippant attitude is it when you say, if you're a backup, I don't want to see or hear you? He speaks for the league, I guess.
You know, that's the way, for better or worse, most teams approach the quarterback position, which I think to some degree short-circuited the careers of guys like Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick. So
stop right there. Stop. Remember, framing counts. Shedeur Sanders is better than Tim Tebow ever was. The reason you use Tim Tebow is in the context that people believe Tim Tebow cannot play football. So you attach Shedeur Sanders' name with Tim Tebow, and people who don't know or won't question you on that will then come back and say, well, he's just like Tebow, which means he can't play. Colin Kaepernick, speaking of Colin Kaepernick, we'll get to him here in a second. Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl, right? The league colluded against Colin Kaepernick and lost and settled because he took a knee. Let's not act like it was some level of, oh, he can play. I got the documents, the receipts. I'm just cooking now. I'm just starting to cook. Y'all might want to wake up. Hit that like button. Now it gets spicy.
I like Shedeur's case was complicated going into the draft, but I don't think it was.
How was it complicated? How? Was he in trouble? Did he go to jail? Was he caught drunk? Did he shoot somebody? Did he fail out of school? Do he got bad grades? Did he beat somebody up? Did he have domestic violence? What? He did this? What do you mean it's complicated? This ain't a relationship status on Facebook. What do you mean it's complicated? Roger Goodell told him with his own two. It ain't the word I'm worried about. I'm worried about your dad. Whew. Complicated. Don't at me either. Don't at me about none of this. Don't at me. I need you to put a video out like this. I'm just saying.
That complicated where there was some sort of weird conspiracy to keep him out of the league.
Yeah, from what I was told by a source, he didn't interview well. He kind of came in and he was interviewing teams instead of the other way around.
Right.
And you're right. He didn't have first round.
When you go on a job interview, the first thing that they tell you on a job interview is not only you are there to interview with the people, the corporation, the company, you are also there to interview them. Don't have me driving 5 hours. I get there and I ask you, so what's the starting rate for this? It's competitive. Stop playing games with me. Listen, what do you see my role as, right? Can we talk about compensation? Can we talk about what the benefits package is? Can we talk about what skill set? Can you talk about all these different things that I want to ask you? Because I'm interviewing you just like you interviewing me. It's a mutual exchange of goods and services. But the reality is when you are with the big brother, when you are part of the party tells you, you dissent, you disappear. See, in the book of 1984, when you just dissented, you just missed it. You just came up missing. Where did he go? What happened to that person? Now, in this case, you don't go missing. You just go, oh, yeah, he can't play anymore. You can't get a job. You can't get a call back. That's the way it goes. Let me continue on.
Talent. There was nothing exceptional about him except for maybe his toughness and his pedigree. But I can't imagine all of these owners getting together and somebody saying, hey, everybody, listen, don't draft Shedeur Sanders. Do I think the Browns... Yeah,
especially when there's somebody with the bullhorn that Dion has on the other side of it. You know what I mean? That seems like ridiculous to...
Oh, it sounds ridiculous. Well, that sounds ridiculous. Let me go to what I don't seem as ridiculous. See, I got the I got the quotes. I got the receipts here, my brother. Let's get to them. So here's what we're going to get to in these receipts. He says, it sounds ridiculous. I don't think they got together and talked about anything. Well, let me give you the history of the NFL getting together and not talking about nothing. Let's get right to it. We'll put this video back up. Talk about this. NFL faces backlash against concussion settlement shortcomings. Just days before sports fans all over the world descend on Las Vegas Super Bowl, the Washington Post released a shocking report revealing cases of former NFL players who have been diagnosed with dementia by their personal doctors but were denied coverage over the NFL's concussion settlement. Tragically, some of these former players subsequently passed away due to complications related to dementia, and in several cases, posthumously found severe chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE. In short, findings indicate that players who experience concussions and later CTE are not receiving the critical care promised to them. According to the Post investigation, players after players was diagnosed, meeting the standard definition for dementia in the American Medicine Journal. But when seeking financial support for care, they were told by the NFL settlement doctors couldn't make a diagnosis that would meet the NFL's settlement definitions, given the benchmarks are harder to meet. While investigators' findings may come to a surprise to many fans, it is no surprise to hundreds and thousands of people who spoke at the Post or anyone who followed this topic. Insiders have long known that all is not what it seems inside the landmark settlement. Legal and medical records have been piling up for almost a decade on the ways players have been treated and current players possibly kept in the dark. But yet and still, people laugh. I think that's silly. People colluding? Yeah, I think they're colluding against something that's way more devastating, like not paying settlement money. Stop playing around with me with this stuff, bro. Stop it. Let's keep it pushing. Oh, we just heard this. Collusion? Why would they collude against anything? NFL encouraged owners to cheat players out of guaranteed money. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and NFL Players Association failure to prove NFL owners colluded. In March 22nd, the Cleveland Browns signed quarterback Deshaun Watson in a fully guaranteed 5-year contract worth $230 million. A few days later, the NFL encouraged teams to not continue the trend of fully guaranteeing contracts in the future. It's a clear case of collusion amongst NFL 32 owner groups, but their side wanted to see it come to the light, and an arbitrator ruled it was a big nothing burger. Surprisingly, they hire arbiters all the time. Same way Deshaun Watson was only supposed to get 6 games, but they gave him 11 because it's Big Brother. Can we keep going? Can we keep going? Let me get this up out of here as we continue to move, because that just, I don't know. I thought it was funny that everyone believes the NFL is above board. Can we go? He talked about Colin Kaepernick. Let's talk about this. Announcement came Friday, seemingly out of nowhere. Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid have settled their joint collusion grievance with the NFL, ending the little fanfare, a case that has transcended the sport and cultural debates in this country. What exactly were Kaepernick claiming? Kaepernick's first filed grievance was in October 2017, saying the NFL teams were in violation of anti-collusion clause and collective bargaining agreement. In the grievance, Kaepernick's attorney claimed that he had gone unsigned because the NFL and its owners colluded to deprive Mr. Kaepernick of employment rights in retaliation for Mr. Kaepernick's leadership and advocacy for equality of social justice and bringing awareness to peculiar institutions still undermining racial equity in the United States. They settled that out of court because the discovery came out and they said, listen, I want every email that you have sent to each other per the NFL to owners, any emails, any documentation and phone records. I want those as discovery for this case. They'll never get the emails up. They ain't giving no emails up. We'll settle out a case. So when people come to you with that energy, that, oh, you're being delusional because the NFL, no. Let me ask you so. If you can control the narrative, you control what happens and people think in the future. Let's continue on. I'm not done. Let's finish our little video.
That seems like the wrong tree to bark up, doesn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it does.
O'Brien, the inner party official.
Now, to bring this to a conclusion, you say, G. Bush, you done a lot of talking and narrative, and how does this play into it? We'll end this with a nice little story about how this all subconsciously affects you when you are talking about anything. The story ends with an investigator who is investigating from Big Brother, a person of interest who may need to be re-educated because he's just not working within the system in this dystopian environment. It goes to give you the insidious nature at the which, when you are actually trying to change people's narratives, how many mental gymnastics you got to get to in order to do it.
Who spends 7 years laying a trap for Winston Smith, drawing him in, arresting him, and then re-educating him, is the ultimate practitioner of doublethink. He believes in what the government is doing in Oceania, but he can also make Winston believe that he is a committed revolutionary who dreams of overthrowing the very same government. But note that doublethink is not lying, and it's not hypocrisy, it's more profound. It is knowing that something is untruthful, but then forgetting this and believing that it is true, and then also forgetting that you have forgotten. In this labyrinthine world, whatever the party says is true becomes true, and through the use of doublethink, it is possible to reconcile these contradictions. So this is the idea that generates the constant rewriting of history, because, as the party slogan goes, who controls the past controls the future, and who controls the present controls the past. And the way of controlling the present is by rewriting history and then exercising doublethink to ensure that you totally believe that lie to be true. This is what O'Brien is using when he burns a photograph that Winston had secretly kept, and he says it doesn't exist. It never existed. And when Winston protests and says it did exist, I just saw it, I remember it, O'Brien says, I do not remember it. At this point, Winston realises that O'Brien is practising doublethink and says if he could have been certain that O'Brien was lying, actually that wouldn't have seemed to have mattered. But it was perfectly possible that O'Brien had really forgotten the photograph, and if so, he would have already forgotten his denial of remembering it, and even forgotten the act of forgetting. So in this labyrinthine world, although the past is rewritten, the everyday reality is that no one thinks that it has been rewritten, either because there is only the rewritten record to rely on, or because doublethink allows them to forget it has been rewritten. That's why it says in 1984, whatever was true now was true from everlasting to everlasting. It was quite simple. All that was needed was an unending series of victories over your own memory. Reality control, they called it. In Newspeak, doublethink. And that is why the final words of 1984 describe Winston's state of mind. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother.
As you can see, we continue to show you, and we bring this home. Let us continue. First, it starts with the setting up the euphemisms. Let's try it. Here are 10 doublespeak cliches often used by the media and coaches and analysts to underperforming players to appear better than they are in the NFL. He has a high ceiling. What does that mean? He's suggesting that a player has the potential to improve significantly, even if his current performance is lacking. He brings a lot of energy to the team, highlighting enthusiasm or hustle rather than actual performance metrics or skills. He's a work in progress. indicating that a player is still developing, which can downplay poor performance. He contributes in intangible ways, suggesting that a player adds value without providing concrete evidence of their contributions. He's got the right mindset, focusing on the player's attitude or mentality rather than their actual on-field effectiveness. He's a team player, emphasizing a player's willingness to cooperate or support teammates instead of their individual performance. He's learning the system, using this as an excuse a player struggles by suggesting they need time to adjust. He has the potential to be a difference maker, implies that a player could impact games positively, even if they have not done so yet. He's had some bad luck, blaming external factors for a player's poor performance instead of addressing their skills or decisions. Remember that. We'll come back to it immediately. He's a valuable depth piece, minimizing the impact of a player's lack of performance by framing them as a solid backup rather than a starter. Hit the like button if you've heard these before. These are the tactics. These are the communications. Notice there's no concrete anything in here. To understand this, you have to understand the tactics behind it. Let us continue. All first verse. Grown man bars is something you're going to have to deal with. No matter how many fabricated stories and lines you spit, it ain't going to equal up to this real. Out of here. Let's keep pushing. Article came out. Another thing, beware of advanced analytics. Advanced analytics jargon, advanced analytics, you didn't really see what you saw. Advanced analytics, I know this sounds crazy, but let's talk about it. Let's get to this. When comparing Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, because one obviously outplayed the other, now you do mental gymnastics and you need to do it shucking and jiving and jumping and doing backflips to explain why it is that person actually, remember, the theme of the story is don't believe your lying eyes. The Browns used pre-snap motion 45% of the time with Gabriel against Philadelphia. They used it 31% of the time against Sanders and they set up against the Carolina Panthers, according to True Media data. On third downs, that increased to 63% for Gabriel and plummeted to 18% for Sanders. You sitting here trying to tell me that what matters is pre-snap motion? This is why you say, G. Bush, why'd you go that long route to tell us all about this 1984 book and propaganda and the tricks media use? Because I'm showing you how to set it up. I need the foundation to show, and then I show you the examples of it. You're trying to tell me pre-snap motion is the reason that he's good and I could have swore I thought he threw a pick six. I thought he fumbled. Let's continue on. Maybe I'm tripping here. I need to know. Gabriel also did a better job of throwing into realistic NFL windows. What the heck is a realistic NFL window? I just saw Shedeur Sanders throw the ball between 3 defenders twice for touchdowns and in the tightest windows possible. But remember, the proof is this: realistic. We're talking about somebody telling us that we didn't see something. I really, in real life, saw him throw them touchdown passes. But now the framing is throwing into realistic. So real is what you tell me is realistic. Real is what you point to. Real is what you frame, not what I just saw him throw between 3 people. Usually see on Sundays. I saw him throw it on a Saturday. It only matter on Sunday? Hit the like button. Next gen stats. Next gen stats, that's next gen propaganda. Defines tight window throws as attempts. See, it's the definition. When somebody can define what you are saying, that definition then takes part. It takes hold. Our definition of what is good is this. So now we can put that guy into this definition of good, and it works. That's why I had to set it up. Next gen stats define tight window throws as attempts targets with less than a yard of separation from the nearest defender when passes arrive. Gabriel was 3 out of 4 of those throws against Philadelphia, according to next gen stats, according to our business. And two of those turned third downs into first downs. Sanders was 0 of 4 on tight window throws. This is the most disrespectful part of it. I just saw him drop dimes twice for touchdowns. But you come out and you change and you say, but no, this is our definition of tight window throws. Remember I told you they got 48 hours to get their story together? You thought I was lying when I said that. You thought I was playing around. G. Bush just being, no, this stuff really goes down. For you to do these level of gymnastics, to be like, no, it was actually dope. Come on, fellas. Come on. This is why I had to go to the links. Watch this. Remember what we said. Remember what we talked about. Prior to this, he was a supercomputer. Prior to this, he was balling. And this ain't got nothing to do with Dillon Gabriel. It got to do with the media and the way they frame stuff. Take the player out of it. I'm talking to y'all, not the players. Remember what we got on this countdown. Remember what we told you. We just read down the list of things that people do to minimize what it is. Here comes the minimization. Gabriel's interception last week was a rookie making a bad play worse. Here's the euphemism. I just told you I gave you a list of them. Hold on. It's textbook. It's textbook. I want to bring it back so we can be clear on it. I want to bring it back. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to this. He's learning the system. This is an excuse a player struggles by suggesting they need time to adjust. He has the potential to be a difference maker. He's got the right mindset. Dillon Gabriel understands. They just want him to get out the playbook. Stop playing around with me. Let's get back to it. No, I'm going to leave this up because I need to come back and refer to it. I need to refer to it. Gabriel's interception last week was a rookie mistake, making a bad play worse. The targets on the route were not where they were supposed to be, but things are going to be wrong for quarterbacks, particularly those on a bad team, limited offensive weapons. Gabriel's compounded that problem with the throw. It's a teaching moment. So you telling me the player who got the teaching moment and then put the ball on the field again on a handoff, it's a teaching moment. So there's 2 teaching moments. So somehow he played better than the guy that led 3 touchdown drives. He ain't no turnovers. Somehow that was better. None of this is to apply to Gabriel will have more success in NFL career than Sanders, but it illustrates why the Browns favor Gabriel at this point. They trust him more. How do you trust a person more? And believe he can handle more within the NFL offense. You got 2 kids. Your one son gets straight A's. Never in trouble. You got another kid, your other son. He's a good kid too. But he had a kind of a rough day the other day, and he just wrecked your mom's car. Are you going to let your one son who hasn't wrecked the car use the car again and you only got one left? Or are you more likely to let the son who just crashed his mother's car use his father's car? No. You're going to tell him he needs to chill out a little bit. Yeah, you got in an accident. You can't keep wrecking these cars. You need to learn from that. Oh, by the way, he was cited for the accident. And he was cited because he was reckless and he was texting while driving. Are you more comfortable with that kid getting another chance and another. You see the framing? How can the Cleveland Browns trust a guy more, and he's the only one who's turning the football over? But in this universe, in this world, that's what we do. We'll continue. In this universe, this is a quote. There's some very specific things that Shedeur Sanders has to do, and he's got to just go skyrocketing up the learning curve in terms of pre-snap protocol. What does that mean? And pre-snap operations. Again, remember I told you about jargon. That means completely understanding the terminology. Again, who told you that? Being able to call the play. He was able to call the play in the huddle against the Panthers, and he lit them up. These are the things we talk about with framing. The challenge isn't unique to Sanders. It's a hurdle for every quarterback drafted that must overcome. However, watch this. It's a challenge for everybody but the guy they took right in front of them. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody except the supercomputer. The Browns are going to value processing time. Processing time? So you value how quickly somebody can diagnose something, but you don't care about what the result is once he throw the pick. Browns are decision-making. He had an opportunity to throw the ball out of bounds. He didn't. That kind of thing. They want somebody who is going to be able to run the offense, minimize mistakes, make good decisions. You didn't minimize mistakes. You put the ball on the turf, and you didn't make good decisions. They used the word processing speed and decision-making when they talked about Dillon Gabriel, especially in the spring. But it's funny because we didn't see that. Are we saying that he can't get to that? The problem is this. Even after you saw it, this isn't the issue. It's when you saw it, you didn't correct it. You didn't correct it. You didn't say, listen, they like his processing speed, but he didn't play like that supercomputer we saw. You didn't correct the record. That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. Gabriel has been retaining the information. He's given a lot. He's been given a lot better than even the Browns have expected. This is where your pushback comes from. This is where it comes from. We'll continue on. The host noted that while Sanders showed impressive flashes during minicamp, his path to mastering these mental aspects, again, you're trying to tell me what somebody mentally is capable of doing. The Browns haven't rushed him into first team reps. It's not just about learning the plays. It's about sliding protections. You know how sliding freaking protections is day one, week one quarterback play. Signaling motions, day one, week one quarterback play. And making split decisions with seasoned NFL defenders disguising coverage. What, like Dillon didn't do? Sanders' development will require extensive film study and practice outside the team facilities. He'll need to be barking out terminology. Put this back up. This is where we've been at. And if you've seen me all along, this is the grand opus. The media has concocted, fabricated, insinuated, and simply mishandled this story from the get-go. It's never been about a fair shake about anything, because the reason why people are so upset and people get mad is because you guys think you're smarter than everybody. You think that if you keep saying something long enough and hard enough, it'll stick. And guess what? To your credit, you are right. It does with certain people. But certain people are not stupid. Certain people got the time, energy, and effort to point these things out meticulously, because this isn't a new trope. This has been going on as long as there's ever been people reporting on things. And the reality of the situation is, when you got the media and you got different individuals and people, there's a level of power that comes with being able to say something and make it true. But when you take a look at the fact that they try to play victim and, oh, it's all these people being unreasonable. It's all these people being unreasonable. They're delusional. No, it's all these people saying we tired of the BS. We tired of you thinking you slick. We're tired of this propaganda that you throw out every single week. And you get together and you get in your group chats and you talk about, y'all think we silly? You don't think that it's strange that Monday and Tuesday be coming around and all of y'all got the same talking points? Y'all got all got the same talking points. I told these people in here, here's what's coming. When Shedeur balled, I told you they ain't gonna move him up no depth chart. When Shedeur was balling, I said they're gonna put Dylan Gabriel in. When I told them that when the Shedeur said Shedeur got to earn it, he got to earn it, he got to earn it, and guess what? Kenny Pickett is still second on the depth chart, and he hasn't earned anything. He hasn't even played. The disrespectful nature of it is, as a football person who loves football, they are telling you that what happens on the field does not count. The only thing that matters is what we say, what we do, and how we continue to say it, because you don't matter. We're the 2% in the NFL, and the people up underneath it, they're going to write what we tell them to write. We don't even got to tell them to write it. We don't got to tell them. It's understood. When the last time somebody criticized the owner? Never. When is the last time somebody really got in the weeds and said, this is crazy, the NFL is doing this? Mike Florio found out the hard way. Florio broke one of the biggest stories with collusion, and guess what? It fizzled. Nothing to see here. You know why? Because it takes other people to catch it and then make it a story. That's why we can have these stories about people in concussions, but we got people asking people, Myles Garrett, he needs to apologize. See, this is the problem. Garrett, you're not going to get people here. That's why you only got a certain, you want to ask him to apologize. Who you asking to apologize on behalf of? Me and the people that look like me and that act like me, that identify with me, that understand the game, and people that want to keep it real? We don't care nothing about no apology. So who you asking him for the apology on behalf of? You ain't asking it on behalf of the fans. I care less if he apologized about some traffic ticket. How crazy is that? Let me get on here in front of the barber shop. You know what? Let me tell y'all something. I apologize. 2 years ago, driving to UCSS, I was pulled over. Actually, I wasn't even pulled over. I was just caught with the laser gun. And they caught me and took a picture, and I had a $100 ticket because I was going, in that area it was a 60, I was going 72. They send it to the mail. And what I want to do is I want to come in front of everybody, all 4,000 of you, wherever you are. And I want to say that I am sorry for driving too fast to work. And I want to let you guys know that for me, I know that I'm a leader. I know that I have a major platform and that you guys all tune in to watch. And I let you down. I let your kids down. I let your family down. And I promise that I'll do better as a man. I'll actually go to church and give some money and repent as well. Get out of here with that stupid stuff. I think he missed the opportunity to apologize. I'm apologizing to nothing. The problem is regular people think they want to hold people above them accountable. But I think it's fancy because you don't hold nobody else that's above you accountable. It's time out. And Myles Garrett said what he said. Next question. Because what's the recourse? What you gonna do? Get mad? They not doing interviews with y'all anyway. They're not coming on your shows. Myles Garrett ain't coming to none of that. He's like, I'm rich forever. I'll do what I'm gonna do. You want to talk about the football? We can get to it. Let me get to some of these super chats. I want to see what y'all talking about because I got some other topics I'm gonna get to. Let me see. Hold on, let me put that back up. I just want to see it. Let me see. Listen, I'm so fired up, I can't even get my buttons together. Let's start with these comments. It's wild over here. It's crazy. Jeremy Jones, salute to the real. You know how we get it. Lance Boyd, VAF. How Pickett's still on the roster is beyond me. If Shedeur ain't the number 2 quarterback, it's official. The Browns on straight up BS. All the earning it, man, they said is all cap. It is cap. It's earn it for some, do what I want for others. Earn it for some, do what I want on. Come on now, that's arbitrary. Shinobi Blocks says, it's naive to think that this couldn't happen. Our history has shown us that elites never wanted us to think we belonged at the table on our own. Go look at Rosewood, Florida. I always tell people, it's levels to it. Why do you think they guard so heavily? For years, they guarded the keys to the industry. You know how hard it is to get in journalism? You know how hard it is to get in media? The gatekeepers you can't, listen, when I came here, they told you can't talk about race, politics, religion, money, crime, poverty, hungerness, injustice, social reform. Everything that makes you a human being and the plight of human beings, don't say anything about that or you can't be in the industry. You know why? Because corporations are anti everything. Above all is money. So you can't even cook that way. Tristan Skywalker, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. I've noticed when it's a negative anonymous source on 12, it's accepted. It's fact. True. We took a whole draft, anonymous source, and rolled with it. Even when 12 demonstrates the exact opposite behavior, but Dickerson has to reveal his source or show receipts. Why would a Hall of Fame running back lie? What would he gain? Say it again louder. Why would you believe somebody? And this is the point. This is why most of the media is non-athletes, non-people that work in it. If you want to ask who got sources, I would think an NFL Hall of Famer would have sources, right? And why he ain't trying, bro, he good. I ain't got to do that. G. Bush, the reality is those veteran guys like David, Miles, Denzel watching, and if Shedeur is better and they don't play him, Kevin Stefanski has some explaining to do. He will lose that entire locker room. Chantel, let me tell you something. I got something for y'all coming up next. I didn't just do G. Bush breaks it down conspiracy. I got something for you next. Because I moved the conversation. I got something for you to tell you what you should be looking for. Y'all stick around. Don't go nowhere. Jace, G. Bush, they see you cooking. They hating and trolling, trying to see you talk dirty. Keep talking. Sell more FUD. It's the only thing I know how to do. They can troll all you want. I'm oblivious to it. I got the Shedeur Sanders. When this is over, I'm about to go watch this football game and get me something to eat. Talking about, I ain't worried about nothing. Go to the pro shop. No Dylan Gabriel merch. His name not even on the players list. Shedeur everywhere. Notice they are not reporting on what Urban. Sarita Allen. You caught that too. Urban Meyer was very, very solid in what he said about Shedeur Sanders. He said, I don't know what y'all talking about. He been accurate. He been a winner. What you mean? He also has so much credibility, but crickets for them. Because look, I told you, this is the reason why if you just come pulling in, go back and watch that first hour, because I had to set up the book, because sometimes life imitates art. That book was written and before the time people thought it was far out and ridiculous. But no, it's not far out and ridiculous when you break down line for line and you take out some of the allegory stuff. You look at everybody, man, that's kind of dangerously true. You think, like, come on now. Come on now. I was discussed by the Jason Lloyd's article in the New York Times, objective to explain why the Browns trust Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. I noticed the UCS Randall didn't include you or Earl G. Bush. You know what's up. I can't deny or confirm that. Hey, whenever he wrote the article, he wrote the article. My issue is not necessarily with Jason Lloyd. My issue is with the advanced analytics. You can make analytics say anything. And the reason I disagree with it is because I'm a former football player, and I understand that when you in those rooms and you talking about certain things, everybody can have an opinion. So if he's writing that, hey, this is why I think that they like Dylan Gabriel. This is why I think the Browns is saying that, right? That's fine. That's your opinion. It's the same way you got an opinion, you write the article. I got an opinion, and I'm talking about why I don't like advanced analytics. The reason I don't like advanced analytics is because it's something as a tool to be used to make something look like there's something it ain't. How you gonna say that motion? No coach cares about motion. They care about putting the ball in the end zone. The tools to how you get it there is what it is. To denote that he don't know how to use motion, or to denote motion is something that is rocket science, is disingenuous. It's not. Like, this is something quarterbacks do from the time they're in middle school. They're trying to act like as if this dude is some remedial guy. He don't understand motion. He can't call plays. Stop. Just say Dylan Gabriel didn't play as good as Shedeur and keep it pushing. Hopefully he plays better today. I don't understand why that's so difficult. Quasi Sampson says, second round quarterback off the dome. Drew Brees, Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick, Geno Smith. Last third quarterback Brown start was Colt McCoy. You forgot about Dak Prescott. I don't know what he was talking about. You don't take a quarterback in the third. What are you talking about? And why is it crazy if I point that out? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Dylan Gabriel got took in the third round. What do you mean? And he's getting first team reps. What do you mean? Remember, double think. You hold two contradictory statements and you believe both of them. How? Dylan Gabriel's a supercomputer. He's in the third round. The Browns loved him. They think he can start and be a guy. But then the very next sentence you say, well, teams don't take quarterbacks in the third round. What? He's a supercomputer. He's fast at reading the text, but lacks the ability to prove it on the field. What they're telling you, beautifully blessed, is that it don't matter on the field. That's the most dangerous concept in the world in sports. Thank you for sending that, because you are pointing it out. The constant reshaping and narrative And trying to shake what counts and does not count is the most dangerous things in sports today. People who say regular season don't count. The preseason don't count. What you do in practice don't count. Like, oh, I keep getting to the championship. It don't matter if you keep getting to the championship. Only rings count. We are constantly, year by year, eroding away everything about sports to a point where the only thing that counts is what they tell you counts. What do you mean it don't count? What are you basing it on? If Kenny Pickett can start without playing no games, then I can start without playing games. Then I'm a franchise quarterback. Right? It don't matter, right? If I can outplay a person in practice, but the touchdowns don't matter, interceptions don't matter, turnovers don't matter. It's motion. Motion was what matters. They do it all the time in baseball. They trust me. They create stuff. Oh, no one cares about ERA anymore. No one cares about batting average anymore. Why? Because you arbitrarily just waved the magic wand? Our society has been infiltrated at every level by elite academia who, because they went to Yale or Harvard or Princeton or wherever they went to, they now get the keys to every industry: music, television, radio, media, sports, business, the government. They're everywhere. Baseball coaches can't even call balls and strikes from the bench. The guy, the pencil pusher up in the front office is telling them, no, you sit him, you run on this pitch, you're going to throw a pitch on that. When did that start to happen? The analytics department tells you, based on these little numbers, you don't even got to watch. Based on these numbers, that's the quarterback we taking. And they tell you, and they got you believing this statement. Well, if the Browns believe it, then I don't blame them. Whoever the Browns believe is the best available, then we have to go with it. The Browns believe it. As long as they believe it, that make it right. No. If the Browns believe that it's daytime today, but it's nighttime. We just cooking. Thought Stefanski hated turnovers. He ate turnovers from the people that's not Dylan Gabriel. Squizerm. I thought Stefanski hated turnovers. It's just when certain people throw them, because that's what it's starting to feel like. He told you all turnovers aren't created equally, and it's a learning opportunity. Old tired narrative, black quarterbacks can't read defenses. They said Kyler Murray couldn't read defenses either. Matter of fact, they didn't like Jalen Daniels. They didn't like Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts either. We talk about they can't call the huddle. DeMonte Williams, we appreciate it. Now, Neil Gray, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time. Bob Marley, the Browns fans know who got game and who can play. Yes, we do. Uncle Kai, that story you just broke down is wild as you know what. Great work, G. Trizzy in the money. G, you cooking today. When you get a chance, check your XDMs. I got a chance to go with ESPN Cleveland and gave an interesting take on the ED conspiracy. I'll check that out. I appreciate you, Trizzy. I'll check that out. The NFL embarrassed itself a lot. Says it protects the shield while hiding behind it. Coaches hide behind doublespeak. Sanders is only the latest. You're correct, Yoshi Doshi. You're correct. This is just the latest of it. This ain't the first time. I'm just highlighting it a little bit. It ain't the first time. We'll continue to see it. We see it. Shame on Jay, Dan, Albert, all haters, especially your boy Jason, for writing the garbage, then going to show talking neutral. Everybody entitled to their opinion, just like I am. You write whatever you want to write. It's part of the game. But part of the game is also being like, I don't agree with that. At the end of the day, you can't advance that's crazy. It's advanced analytics, man. Like 2 touchdowns is always better than 2 interceptions or 2 turnovers. 2 plus 2 is 4, not 5. Don Hall, 1817. I'm a newbie to football, but don't the quarterback get coached by the offensive coach? So why does everyone keep saying our nephew was only coached by his dad? Wasn't Coach Prime the head coach leading? Because it's a way to be dismissive. It's a way to throw Coach Prime into it, and it's a way to use language as a way to confuse people as to what it is. Because to those who don't watch football all the time, they're trying to act like he's some extension of Coach Prime, that he can't play without him. He has to have his father around. We got to talk about his dad at all times, all that good stuff. They know good and well Coach Prime don't call no offensive plays. As a matter of fact, his offensive coordinator was Pat Shermer, who was a 2-time head coach, 1 for the Cleveland Browns and 1 for the Giants. He's been a long-time offensive coordinator, and he actually runs versions of the West Coast offense that Kevin Stefanski runs today. Same terminology. But again, that won't be spoken because people will tell you, oh, it's not the same offense. Like, I don't know offenses. Drizzy in the money. He said it was unwatchable yesterday. I didn't see it yesterday. I wasn't there I wasn't there yesterday. I was out moving around. I didn't see the show yesterday. Go subscribe to the channel, by the way. We got the post game coming up. Make sure you want the real testament. You got the post game show coming up. Me, Earl, Mikey McNuggets coming up. We got the post game show. We about to get it going. Calm the Quiet is the voluntary SLAVERY Kanye spoke about. Why can't we come together and create our own league? Don't y'all get tired of this? No. Here's what I'm going to talk about. I don't believe, I don't like comparing nothing to that. I don't really like saying that word because it diminishes what that is. It diminishes what people went through. It diminishes the level of anguish and atrocity that word is. So I try not to use that comparative to a sport where people get paid a lot of money. So in terms of that, no, I don't, I don't agree with a lot of what Kanye West says too. But when you're talking about coming together and create your own league, at some point in time, you can't. I always talk about there's this myth with the wealth gap. There's a myth, like, and a lot of times when you talk about the plight of Black people in general, there's a lot that goes into people saying about the myth and how people go about it, and we need to start this and we need to start this. When you talk about the wealth gap in America between the haves and the have-nots, it's the equivalent of people who own everything and people own nothing. I mean, the NFL is unbreakable. The only thing that could break the NFL is maybe if the government got involved and somehow they had a huge scandal. But other than that, when you got billionaires and you got people who are that rich, there's no way that somebody's going to go to another league. What are you talking about? They're going to rock with that? They like, no, listen, you got life-changing generational money. No one's going to start their own league. They've tried that. It's called the XFL. Work out too well. It's one of those things. It's just, it's just not going to happen. Not happening. Job is to win. What happened to Hannibal Barca? Oh, well, here's what happened at. Well, Hannibal actually lost the war. Hannibal actually, some would argue, Hannibal thought that he couldn't win the war. He knew that the gates of Rome were impenetrable, and he knew that they would just pillage the countryside, burn everything, and starve them outside of the gates. He knew that when you have people that are fortified inside, like, it'll be a long standoff, which is going to end bad. So he said, listen, I won these wars, and Rome was smart by not engaging him. Why would we engage somebody that we can just let chill out? And that's the way, and what I was giving you the story about Hannibal, it comes full circle. Sometimes you can win by not even doing anything, by not even doing nothing. Let's keep it going. I want to get to something else. Promise I will get to your super chats. We appreciate you. 4,593 people. Please hit the like button. Please hit that share button. We cooking. Word to the wise. There's one thing that I've been noticing out here too. I've gone on a lot of different platforms and different things like that. And I'm a person who likes to give you a little bit of game. Here's something that I don't like it. I think that I think it's become fashionable to say things that are slightly disrespectful to people who support Shedeur Sanders. I think there's a lot of times people throw little jabs and digs and add a little secret sauce on top of that and then hide their hands and say, oh, I didn't mean anything by that. His fan base is delusional. His fan base is crazy. They have no clue about what's going on. You know, just sit back and learn, sit back and watch how this thing works. And I find it funny that there's a lot of people getting that stimulus package. See, in the game, they understand that y'all gonna pull up. Y'all gonna pull up in droves. But sometimes you gotta protect your energy when they get to the point where you're getting disrespectful. Don't call me delusional. Don't make up nice little names about me for supporting who I support. Because y'all ain't the first group of people that supported somebody. Baker Mayfield had a strong crowd and still has a strong presence. Right? At the end of the day, when y'all pulling up and y'all on every comment section and you in every post and you in every, every comment, everything, those individuals know that you help boost their value. You boost how many views they get. You're boosting the engagement. The engagement is through the roof. And they get on there and say little things like, oh, it don't matter what he do. Well, if it don't matter what he do, and every time I get on, I'm delusional, I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind. Well, how's about you ain't got to worry about me. I'm hands off. I'm hands off. I'll pull back up when Shedeur play. So for the time being, while the Browns is here playing, I'll watch, but I'm not going to be an accomplice. I'm not going to pull up to your platform. I'm not going to show up and you get disrespectful on us because I'm guarding my energy. At the end of the day, there ain't nothing wrong with people supporting people, bro. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with pointing out that, hey, Shedeur played pretty good. There ain't nothing wrong with people pointing out the fact that, hey, I thought he was going to be a good pick. Fans don't have to, fan is a root word for fanatic. Why is it that I got to temper my game? Why is it I got to temper my enthusiasm because I want to support somebody? Why is it that you saying I got to wholeheartedly support people that I don't know or support an organization that I feel is doing him dirty, but you keep telling me that I'm delusional? No, I'm not delusional. Well, here's what we're going to do. If I'm so delusional, stop putting him on thumbnails then. CG Bush. I told you this ain't for everybody. If you want to be combative, you can't have it both ways. Don't put him on the thumbnail. If you don't think he good, you don't think he about it, you don't see no upside to it, you think it's a sideshow, you think it's a circus, stop putting him on the thumbnails then. Put Kenny Pickett on the thumbnail. See how many views you get. Put Joe Flacco on there and talk about his expectations for the first preseason game. See how many views you get. Oh, you know that. See, you're not dumb. You get it. So at the end of the day, if it's nothing but a sideshow, you don't think you can play, you don't think you no good, you think he's entitled, you don't really got no upside, and you think Dylan Gabriel is better, well, just put Dylan Gabriel on the thumbnail. He getting the reps, right? But you ain't gonna do that. See, I can't be giving away the secret sauce. People mad. Stop. But word to you. You don't gotta let nobody have your energy. You don't gotta give your energy to nobody. I see people on Twitter talking about, well, just throw an inflammatory word out there, inflammatory stuff about Shedeur Sanders, and then say, ha, 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 you guys are falling into the trap. I'm blocking every Shedeurian that comments on it. I'm like, what type of childish little kid behavior is this? And I said, nope. Sometimes you need to be still. Sometimes it's a time for not going back and forth with people. And as the season rolls around and the season winds down, I need y'all to sometimes be still. Y'all want us to let it play out? Let it play out. And then when it play out, we'll show up. But I'm not going to entertain and interact with people that want to be, you want me to come over here, boost you all the way up, give you the stimulus package, show up, and every 4 words it's about his fan base, that fan base, his fan base. I can't stand them people. These people do. Okay, well, you ain't got to worry about us. Just note to the wise. Because the reality of the situation is, I never saw some people have to temper and dim their light so other people can feel comfortable. Don't do it. Because when you start doing it, they expect it from you. I'm just saying. Now, let's continue on. Now, some people that have come along and they've been here, they will have certain conspiracy theories. Dang, G. Bush done went through conspiracy theories. He done told them to stop dealing with people. This dude he's unhinged. He's mad at analytics. Yeah, I don't like analytics. Yeah, they stats and numbers are great, but my eyes tell me better. If you got a problem with that, the whole perspective is whack. See, I'm just an old guy who just likes to watch my eyes and watch, and I like to trust what my acumen talks about. I like to go watch film, not advanced analytics. Maybe that's just me. Here's what it is. Here's what I will say. Sometimes when you support somebody, and sometimes when you want something to happen so bad that you can't wait, you ask for something that you want, not what you need. And I believe that it's about incubation, motivation, and patience. Incubation, motivation, and patience. Sometimes you need to be incubated. Sometimes you need to be hidden, covered, so that you can develop skills to cope when you're on your own. In that incubation period, you gain motivation and knowledge. You see other people play. You see their mistakes. You see their triumphs. And then you patiently wait for your opportunity. And once that opportunity comes, and you've been in the incubation period, and you've been motivated, and you gain that knowledge, now you are ready to ascend and get it done. Shedeur Sanders said something the last couple of weeks, and I bookmarked him and I went back to him, because this is the energy level that I want you to take away from this. As the preseason ends, Shedeur Sanders, if he's not playing, it'll become the fade, the conversation. Because we know that the quarterback competition was null and void. That wasn't no competition. That was something to move and sell jerseys and do a bunch of other different stuff. It is what it is. Competition got people excited. People logged in. But during this process, Shedeur had a couple of press conferences, and it showed the mental state that he's in. We'll listen to him and come back, because I think this is what you need to take an advantage and look at when we coming up.
As humans, we mess up at times, but I don't feel like he throw us away as individuals. So it's different things and different life lessons, you got to go through. And I haven't went through this situation, that I'm in ever. So it's really just a test, I feel like from God, or whoever it's from, it's just a test. But anyway, I'm just thankful that I was able to see the day of light and get out there and be able to play. So, they didn't have to let me play. So anything and everything, is good for me. So then, the kids looking up, the kids definitely inspire me, of course, more. It's a lot of people incarcerated that definitely talk to their friends, to talk to me, to tell me my friend from jail was, watching you play and watching everything that's going on. So it's just like the world, I say is so small and everybody sees everything, and I'm thankful to be able to inspire people through everything. Because a lady just told me now, when I'm having a bad day, I just think about Shedeur, and I'm saying, I'm going to act like Shedeur. So like that's so cool, to me, that I'm some form of inspiration.
He talking to you. He's saying, I know y'all want me to play. I know y'all backing me. I understand it. But right now, God got me going through something, and it's for a reason. It's for a reason. I ain't playing for a reason. I don't know what it is. It's a test. I go back to the book of Job. And in the Bible, the devil comes up and says, hey, what about Job over there? He says, my servant Job is great. He loves the Lord. He's a good man, a good family man. He's rich, has a good heart. Devil goes to him and says, he should. You gave him everything. He said, what? Yeah, you gave him everything. You take it away, I bet you he curse you. God said, bet. Not Job. Just like that. Devil comes in. Job loses everything, one by one. Cattle, land, crops, family. It got so bad that Job's rich friends came back and said, dang, Job, what did you do? What did you do that was so bad that you've been getting cursed down here? What's going on? And Job finally turns around and asks. He asks, like, what's going on, God? Like, let me know so I don't make them same mistakes, because I ain't never been through that. And you know what? If you really do the math and you really look into the story, God really never tells Job why he put him through that. But Job continued to praise. He kept continuing to have faith. And then God came back and said, I'm going to restore you. I'm going to give you 2 times as much as you had before. You say, what is the moral to the story? The moral to the story is sometimes we all going to go through some stuff. You're not going to know why. It's the plight of humans. It's the plight of our existence. The goal is when things go bad, what do you do? Do you give up? Do you curse God? Do you complain and murmur? Or do you say, I still got faith. I'm on the path. I still trust when he ain't even there. When there's no sight of it, I still trust. And the most important thing is you got to go through it. Because once you go through it and he exalts you, ain't nobody take it. Ain't nobody touch it. Remember that. Case 2. Let's listen to what Shedeur just said a couple of days ago.
Different perspective, and that's why I come here. I'm happy. I always got good energy.
Remember.
I would say I learned life in a different perspective, and that's why I come here. I'm happy. I always got good energy because, I'm blessed to come out here every day. Regardless of the situation, regardless of anything, I know my time, whenever that is, I'll be ready for it, and I'm going to embrace that. But in due time, I got many things I need to fix, many things I need to work on, and I'm not oblivious to that. So all I look at it as I'm getting more time to cook. I'm getting more time to warm up. That's all it is.
Again, sometimes you got to mirror the energy of what somebody's talking about. Incubation, motivation, patience. Those are all things that you need to have. Because a couple of steps here, too early there, few seconds late here, you're in trouble. I'll conclude with this. When I was younger, I was the oldest child, and my mom was pregnant with my brother Bryson. And I was a kid that always liked to run around, and I just always wanted my mom and dad to play with me. I actually thought I was a little adult. And when I found out that I was having a baby brother, I was so excited. I used to ask her as she was pregnant, when is the baby coming? When is the baby coming? She would say, Garrett, the baby will be here soon, very soon. I'm like, this whole baby situation is wild to me. Like, how long it take to have the baby? 3 months go by. I'm noticing her getting bigger now. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. She wasn't lying. Her stomach getting bigger. I'm like, hey, so when my brother get here so he can play? She's like, first of all, he's going to be a baby. He can't play with you like he's going to be young. He got to grow up. I'm like, man, it's waiting time, bro. Well, he need to grow up quick. 6 months pass. All of a sudden, this is looking more and more probable. Like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about, Mom. You need to push this baby out any day. Finally, she has the baby, right? And I'm like, this is awesome. Now it's time for you to play. Time to get your stuff together. She said, Garrett, he ain't ready to play yet. I said, but he looked like it. We could do something on his level. She said, no. Little did I know in my little naive state, I was 3 years older than my brother, that it was going to take 2 more years for him to even be able to play. And the things that I played that I wanted him to play with, guess what? I grew out of. I was into video games. I wasn't into toys and dolls and all that stuff no more. I was into other things. But eventually, he was able to play. And eventually, we got older and we got to play college football together. Ain't that crazy? But the thing about the miracle of birth, it teaches us God's great lessons. And those great lessons are, there are stages to life, just like trimesters. There's 3 of them. Distinctive. First trimester, you get a heartbeat. You figure out by the end of that trimester, hopefully it's a boy or a girl, right? Then you get put to a period where now the baby is rapidly growing, right? Getting bigger. Internal organs are starting to grow. You get to a point where now the baby becomes aware of the environment, right? The baby starts moving around and kicking. And by the time you get to the 3rd trimester, there's a whole human being alive in the mother's womb hanging out, right? But the thing about birth is it's all about incubation. You see, you're not able to do nothing in there. And the reason you ain't able to do nothing in there is because you're not ready. You think that baby think he ready. He think he ready. I got lungs, I got all. He said, no, you're gonna be incubated. I'm gonna let the mother take care of you. You ain't, all you gotta do is sit and grow. You get food, don't gotta move. You get air through the umbilical cord, don't gotta do nothing. You get water, you get nourishment, you get protection. It's the perfect place to grow, right? And then when you're ready, you're born into a world, and it's the scariest thing you've ever seen in your life. You jump out there and you're like, man, you hear a bunch of noises, your eyes burn, your ears hurt, it's hard to breathe, and you say, man, I wish I could go back to that womb. But eventually you grow, and you get to a point where you start to slowly walk on your own. That's how blessings are. God blesses you with timing and maturity. If you have a child and is born 3 months too early, you're going to miss a lot. Matter of fact, that's very dangerous. If you're born a couple of weeks too late, they're going to have to induce labor because that's dangerous. Only at the right time during a pregnancy. Where's the sweet spot? Do you have optimum results where you can have a healthy, living, beautiful child? That's the way it is when God wants you to do something. Sometimes you want to hurry up and have it right now. You want it. But God knows you ain't ready for it yet. He's setting you up for something bigger, setting you up for something greater. He's setting you up for something more triumphant. He set you up and put you on the path at the right time. It's special. It's special because everything line up. It ain't gonna be hard. It's easy. When you doing what you love to do and you doing it in his purpose, it's easy. Ain't nothing stand in your way. Nobody can stand in your way. You know why? Because you walk in his perfect will. And the thing that it tells me about Shedeur Sanders is he's okay with it. He needs something. He's being incubated right now. But don't get it twisted. He's still motivated. He's still motivated. And this patience will pay off, whether it's here or somewhere else. Just realize that when that time is right, ain't nobody stop that. Heavens and earth can't stop it. It's already written. So for us, for you, for me, for everybody else, as this preseason comes to an end, always remember, when we say the Lord's Prayer, what do we end with? Not my will, but your will be done. Sometimes that's hard to say, but if you stand on it, it'll never, never let you down. With that being said, we will get to the super chats. Here quickly because we want to get you to your game. But I'm going to say, I didn't tell nobody. I got the preseason game coming up today. Make sure you watch the UCSS post-game show. I will be on there. Me and Earl the Pro, we're going to cook. Mikey McNuggets, make sure I hit that like and subscribe button. It's the best pre-game show in the game. I'm going to give you that one. I got another one. And then I'm going on vacation. I'm going to unplug. I ain't got no more schemes. I ain't going to be on Twitter. I ain't going to be on the internet. I want to take my 7 days, and I don't want to hear about Stefanski or Barry or playbooks or first team reps. I'm going to just go off with my family, enjoy my downtime, turn my phone off. But I wanted to give you those words of encouragement at the end, because sometimes people despair over the things that you don't need to despair about. Remember, guard your energy, guard your peace. In all times, understand that if you keep your mind facing a certain direction, what will be will be. You don't have to wreck your mind doing it. Somebody need to know that outside of football, not just about football. Shedeur Sanders is an example for you in your real life. It's some people that's waiting for that raise. They ain't got it yet, but they despairing. Why won't they give it to me? Some people waiting for that promotion. Some people waiting to meet Mr. Right or Mr. or Mrs. Right. You've been by yourself for so long, but you've been praying, send me somebody, send me somebody. In his timing, if you acknowledge, he'll send. It's people out there that's waiting to be, man, listen, listen, I need to get in shape. I want to stop smoking. I need to stop drinking. All of that. Don't worry about it. If you don't be anxious, you just got to put yourself in an incubation and then motivate yourself and be patient and always say, not my will, yours. That's what I am. That's for some people out there because they think this is about sports, music, and culture. I'm giving you that word. Sometimes your spirit has to be calm, right? This is a lesson for a lot of people that's in Shedeur's circle. We need to learn from what he's saying, right? Because that can translate to your life too. All right, here we go. Let's get to these super chats. I appreciate everybody. 4,000 some people in here. I appreciate y'all in here doing your thing. We're going to try to get through the super chats. We want to get you out to this football game coming up. Y'all guys crazy. It's been wild. All right, let's see. Let me take this banner down. Doggy Bone. G-Bush Church Kevin's Fancy Colorado Showcase. You'll see officially the Cleveland page. Kevin's praising Shedeur, completely different treatment. Sometimes, well, look, sometimes things will come at you fast. Stay patient. I think he's going to play well tonight, by the way. Make sure y'all come on back. I think he's going to play well, by the way. Gregory. What's up, Greg? This regime constantly tries to put square pegs in round holes. They value Coach of the Year titles over winning division titles. Physics. I would like to see them put a more of an emphasis on winning and doing what they need to do to develop people. I ain't got time for no next year type conversation. Jonathan McGriff, Eric Dickerson. So NFL's owners don't lie and would never collude. G. Bush, you told us. Shedeur fan from Florida. Again, thank you, Brown, for a Baker Mayfield. Shout out to Buck Life. Yeah, man. I just had to bring that to your front door. They've been colluding a long time about a lot of different things. What you mean? Yoshi Doshi, look at the throws against the blitz in the red zone. I did see that graphic. I had so much packed into this show that I couldn't even get to it, but you are correct. The throws versus the blitz in the red zone, those are advanced analytics stats that tell a different story. Statistics or whatever you make them. They're tools to be used at your whim. If you skilled enough, you can make any statistic say anything. Brody, bottom line, this minute the Saints picked a 40-year-old over Shedeur, the fix was in. By the way, they've been doing this. Y'all advocated us taking Brandon Weeden. He was 30 years old in the draft. Brandon Weeden gets to go in the first round? If you want to ask about characteristics, Johnny Manziel had the worst characteristics we've ever seen. But somehow, Shedeur Sanders didn't go in the first round, and Johnny Manziel did? All first verse. All first verse. Kilo Kuande. Thank you for the super chat. They won't say it, G. Bush, because it will not fit their message. Shedeur Sanders has been coached by NFL coaches his entire football life. You are correct. Shaping a narrative counts. Brady went in the 6th round. Duh. What are you talking about? Beautiful, blessed. We appreciate you. Let's get to it. G. Bush Shedeur had a prime equity clause in his initial contract, and there is the reasons the owners in the NFL blackout listed him. Just Google it. We've covered that on this channel. eWill6250. By the way, I've always talked about this before. When I talked about the whole Deshaun Watson collusion thing before it came out, I was known as a conspiracy theorist, and I was a zealot, and he's crazy. Owners don't do anything like that. And then it came out, and then it's quiet. Let me know where I'm wrong at. Let me know. I was an elite academician, 4.0, but I was raised in Athens, Ohio by the World War II veteran. If you make a mistake, it could mean you die. No patience for the BS. We appreciate you. G. Bush, they know Shedeur is talented. They buried him on the depth chart so they could use his essence, hoping to make other quarterbacks. They want better by competing against his greatness. Ready, set, soul free. We appreciate the super chat. He is going to listen. By the way, I think sneakily, if it was me, I would have them competing today, and that would be we'd be having a conversation based upon, we're going to have a conversation about the second team quarterback today. I want to see Dylan Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders repping it out. Because to me, Kenny Pickett there's no reason he should be on this roster, especially given the fact that he hasn't played at all. Mama Bell, thank you, G. Bush, on point as always. Thank you, Mama Bell, for pulling up and tuning in. Smith, DeMar, they don't care because they want to draft a quarterback next year. That is correct. We've stated that on this channel from Jump Street. They will use whatever it is to justify the narratives of taking a quarterback next year, even though if you ask people, have they seen them play? Have they seen the quarterbacks next year play? They will tell you no. Or they will say, I don't know which one I like. Or it'll be vague and just say, this is the generational quarterbacks. Remember, we use vague terminology to justify what we want. What is a generational quarterback if he only played 2 games? You know what I'm talking about. Didn't Chris Sims say the same thing and no one asked him for source? Eric Dickerson says it now they want receipts. Well, listen, it's contrary to what the party wants. He's outside of the party. So now it's time. We got to discredit that. But if you inside the circle, we don't question it. And then we echo it. Now it becomes, this is relevant, that's not. That's simple. Easy money. Goodell's adopted nephew went to JSU to play for Prime. But Prime left for Colorado 1 year together. They were pissed. Things to make you say, skill over scheme. I didn't even know that. Allegedly. Allegedly. I didn't know that, man. It's wild, man. And they do I am taking skill over scheme every day. Jimmy Cleveland. Gabriel got best reps and a week prep. With Sanders, got 2 days notice, no first team reps, but his talent showed up. That was actually the problem. He was actually better than they thought, which put a damper on what they really wanted to do. I don't think they ever really particularly wanted to play him. I don't even think they particularly wanted to draft him. But when he showed up and he was able to play, it puts them behind the 8 ball. And one thing that Albert Breer says that I believe is correct. Coaches don't want people behind them that have names because they don't want to have to explain themselves as to why they're playing people. And the reason they don't want to explain why they're playing people is because then they would have to explain why is it that they're not trying to win. That's the biggest elephant in the room. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to win because they have a plan already made up of what they want to do. So I don't know why this is groundbreaking or earth-shattering when I put this material together. It all leads towards that. Cool Breeze 321. Thank you so much for the super chat. You telling it, G. Bush. Sickening when the media is doing to frame this quarterback race so dishonestly. This is a microcosm of what's happening in the media at large. I'm hearing them say fifth round DP, shaking my head. Yeah, this is what happens in our industry. And sometimes when you point it out, you're going to be seen as a person that, oh, he's just being him again. It's just him and his conspiracy theories. No, that's why I go through painstakingly details to show you in the minutia, based on literary, based on science, based on history, based on math, based on human nature, human civilization, finance, economics, business. I go through painstaking details to show you every track. So I'm not just saying it's got something to do with football. This is from the top down. This is systematic. Y'all don't get it? Now, if I say systematic too much, y'all know what they're going to start. See, they be like, I almost got him. He almost said it. No, I didn't. Nah. I just let my work speak for it. You know what it is. You are saying why UCSS was unwatchable. They called us delusional for believing Eric Dickerson without you and Tyrus Earl. The show is unwatchable. Peep the plot. By the way, continue to go subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, bro. Here's what I'm gonna say. Here's why you should watch UCSS. Shameless plug, but I'm really why you should watch it. Because there's a certain thing to be said about having discourse. It's important. UCSS is a place and a platform where you go that you're going to hear multiple sides of one story. Somebody and the way they see things is different. And in this industry, it's been one conglomerate and monolith. It's one idea. The thing that why people should watch UCSS and people enjoy the show is because you do have a Garrett Bush who thinks differently from an Earl. Me and Earl disagree all the time. But you do have a G. Bush that disagrees with Tyvus. Then you have Jason Lloyd who disagrees with Bull at times. And then Bull disagrees with Jay. And then Jay disagrees with me. And then I disagree with Earl. Or Earl disagrees with McNuggets. The point of the exercise is to be a place where you can have those conversations. And those conversations are important because, believe it or not, there are attitudes and beliefs that are represented in the wider culture that people are going to tune in. And so I get an opportunity to talk about some of these major issues in a format where, guess what? You can do it. Because if UCSS was not there, you would not be able to have that conversation. You'd have to hear the same milquetoast because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to disagree with people. You're not supposed to be able to say, I don't believe that. And here's why I don't believe it. You should be able to have an intellectual conversation without attacking somebody and be able to prove and joust and move your points. So when people, I welcome anybody. I don't take videos down. I don't report people to YouTube. Feel free to clip anything I said as long as it's in the right context and you give your point as to why you don't agree with it. I ain't never had no copyright claim on nobody. You know why? I believe in positive discourse. As long as you ain't calling me out my name, as long as you ain't taking me all out of context, you can disagree with anything I say. Because guess what? That's what I proved when I put the blog up last week. When I said putting the haters out, I've been standing on business. And guess what? The people that I called out on Twitter, that's what I did. Say, ain't no problem, bro. It's all good. Come on back to the barbershop so we can talk about it. I welcome you on the platform. We talking discourse here. You should be able to stand on what you said, right? I believe in men and women and being on business, and that men and women can have a positive conversation. Can't tell me. Come on now. Come on up here. That's why you should watch it. So you can see people go at it about things that we don't agree about. But I'll tell you this. When I see Jason Lloyd, me and him, I talk about his family, and we go in there and she say, how your family? We done been to weddings together. Hey, how you doing? What's up with that? You talk about Bull, we done been out to eat before. I done been to Jay's house. They done been to my house. Guess what? If the only thing that you disagree on is sports, that means you got a lot, like 99% of other things that you can have in common, right? So if y'all gonna take that quote too. Coach Herm Edwards said, if a rookie and a vet are on the same level, he's starting the rookie over the vet. Their propaganda ain't working. I'm working with that too. I believe wholeheartedly that's what it is with me. I already done told you. I done already told you how I feel about it. If it's close, Neil Gray, I'm going to young boy. G, did you hear nephew say he's cooking? He's modern day Joseph. That's tough. Hey, Joseph he's a high level first ballot Christian Hall of Famer. Hey, Deanna Bowens. Hey, Joseph is high level. I mean, when you start getting them Old Testament, these first ballot, I don't even say Abraham's name like that. I don't say David. I don't say John the Baptist, Peter, Paul. I don't mess with Matthew or Luke. I can't really bring them up. They was really back in the Old Testament. If you weren't working right, bears come out of the woods and eat you up. I can't touch the Old Testament, boy. It was real back then, boy. I see what you're saying. The prince is waiting, cooking, learning, gaining the wisdom of God. See you, Auntie, in the house from Tampa. Deanna, thank you so much for pulling up on the super chat. I appreciate you, as always, bringing that humor and that funniness. My guy, beautifully blessed, you brought it today. I follow. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. Bridget Maxey, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you pulling up. Do you think also they made about how his prime contract is, Benjamin Israel? I wouldn't put nothing past him. As I so eloquently brought up the 3 cases that the NFL has, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, as you can see, I've never seen people still consistently talk about 5th round picks so tough. It's wild to me. Yoshi Doshi, 3 players on one side, one on the other, most reps. You got to put, he was throwing to the trash cans too. In the support team, they had guys over there playing 7-on-7 flag football intramurals. Jimmy Cleveland, you are way too generous. I appreciate you. Indeed. This is for you and your wife, lunch. We appreciate your coverage of our guy, Shedeur. We appreciate you too. We appreciate you. Like I said, I always say, this place ain't a place where we come and oh, you got to send this money. Nah, bro, I appreciate you. Every single super chat that I get, I appreciate you guys. But here's the thing. If you don't have a super chat, that's fine. You know what you can do? Wherever you at, support it. If you on UCSS, support it. If you on Barbershop, support it. Hit that like button, subscribe to it. You ain't got to agree with everybody, but support it. Because, I want if you want people that are like-minded to come on and like-minded individuals, all you got to do is leave a like and comment. It don't even got to be for me. Just comment what you feel about it. And that's enough for wherever you at. So I appreciate you guys. And make sure, coming up, let's go. After the game, you know where to be at. After the game, we got 2 of them things. We're going to be over a UCSS post-game show. Myself, Earl the Pearl, thumbnails available. Make sure you're ready to go. We over there. And then we're going to come back on the barbershop. We're giving you 3 of them things today. I appreciate you over there, Jimmy Cleveland. I appreciate you, my guy. P. Rothstein, my guy. There's no reason for Eric Dickerson to be making this kind of story up. Somebody with intimate knowledge told him. I don't believe it's a lie. Why would he? Listen, Eric Dickerson don't play for the Browns. He never played for the Browns. He's not in the media, nowhere for them. So my question is, why would I believe anonymous sources from the Giants who said Shedeur Sanders' interview process was atrocious and he was doing all kind of crazy stuff? But the man who was an NFL Hall of Famer, I got to discredit him? I don't understand it. G. Bush, why is it that only black quarterbacks in competition, including Cam Ward for quarterback 1, and double and triple stacking black quarterbacks? Why while bearing exceptional talent? Straight Talker 1619. I think when you talk about overall quarterbacks, I think the talent pool is this. Your black quarterbacks have now become, a major thing in the NFL. You go back from, all the way back from Doug Williams to, going back to Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham and some of those guys, to where the black quarterback has now evolved. There's all different shapes and sizes of black quarterbacks. There's pocket passers who strictly throw the ball. There's Patrick Mahomes. There's the Dak Prescotts. There's the Jalen Hurts. There's the electrifying Lamar Jackson. There's Jaden Daniels. There's all kind of different varieties that take place. I think you saying there's more prevalent because there's more of them, right? So you're going to end up with quarterbacks that are talented on the same roster sometimes. I think more than me, what for me is not so much about that. It's about the simple fact that how we cover it, how we go about covering and framing these things. It is something for me. By the way, coming up, I got a blog. A lot of people, y'all asked for it. Make sure y'all check it out. Me and Quincy Carrier. I was on his podcast. We recorded it yesterday, and it'll be out, I believe, Sunday. Go check it out. It is me and him hashing it out about the Browns quarterback situation. I'll just leave it at that. It was a very good conversation because we put a lot of stuff on the table. Go check that out. It'll be out on Sunday. So we're going to get to that. One more. Saying so. What a sobering thing you put at the end, my good sir. I'm worried about the kicker and cornerback depth. We'll talk about that in the post game because we'll talk about, listen, the kicker, if the Browns are going to win football games, their special teams got to be on point. And their special teams is not on point. We can't hit extra points. Field goals, I got I got a lump in my throat every time a field goals kicker is kicked. Depth at corner, non-existent depth. Martin Emerson injury hurt. Cam Mitchell is looking horrible, and they have no depth whatsoever. They need to be on these waiver wires figuring it out. But quiet as kept, I'm kind of worried about the running backs. Has anybody seen Jerome Ford? Low key, I'm worried about the receivers. The offensive side of the football is just, it's tough. It is tough. We appreciate you. With that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you as we get ready to get up out of here. For those who watch the barbershop, watch UCSS, support what we're talking about. I appreciate every one of you that you tune into. I appreciate those who support me, that watch my updates on the Bleacher Report. This whole quarterback competition has been a lot of heavy stuff, right? We talked about a lot of different things in this quarterback competition. But I want you to keep it at this as we leave you with some parting conversations and thoughts that we go into this game, in the preseason game. We must remember that it counts. Your merit, your deeds, what you do in life really counts. It's easy for us to get jaded. It's easy for us to feel like, I'm fighting an uphill battle in life. But I'm telling you, that's why I don't like erasing nothing. This don't count. Yes, it does. The character of a person is what they do when nobody is looking. And I had to tell myself that. You can say all the right things, but God knows the intent of your heart. And you can't fool him. So, yes, with the work you put in counts. So for those out there that want to be great at anything, for those out there, people ask me all this time, how do you got advice for this, advice for this? Sometimes you're going to do work every single day, and it's going to be your best work. Some of the best work I feel I ever had in my career was in my early blogs, and nobody watched them. But that's okay, because whatever you put in today adds to who you is tomorrow. So always remember, don't let anybody diminish and tell you and marginalize the work you put in, because what you do each and every single day does count for something. You may not see the effect today, but I promise you, consistent habits will build consistent success in the end. With that being said, you never know what G. Bush might show up, radio, television, and internet, but if you want the fresh cut on sports, the barbershop is the place to be. It's about sports, music, culture, and we got to throw in life. So if you're about that life, you know where to find me. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you at UCSS postgame, and I'll see you back here later on. Automatically, even if Shedeur don't get a chance to play for 3 snaps, maybe Dylan Gabriel play good, or maybe Joe Flacco even play good. At the end of the day, how I always end it is, you know what I say, go Browns. Peace.
Quality, service, atmosphere. You're next in the chair. Feel at home in the barbershop. G. Bush offers a fresh cut on sports. The barbershop isn't just grooming for guys. It's culture, it's lifestyle, it's sports. And it's now the barbershop is giving the sports scene a sheer shave and shine. Join the makeover now. Follow Garrett Bush at GBush91 on Twitter.